Hi, you've made it to the end of this semester in World Religions course. There's just a few concluding things I have for you to wrap this semester up. First, I want to draw attention to the original definition we had for religion. Remember, we said religion is the belief or set of beliefs we use to give meaning to our experience. And so I want to revisit that. Beliefs. This whole semester, we've been looking at beliefs being used to interpret experience. All human beings have experiences of the world. Some of the things we experience are suffering and family life, national life, social relations. All of these experiences that we have, sensations, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, have to be made sense of. And religion is the system by which we make sense. And we've talked about basic pieces of religion having authority, that foundation, ground level. How do we know? What is the source of authority? And then we talked about the foundation, answering the question, what is eternal in this religion? Then we talked about the house, and the house has to do with the goal of life, all of our values and our attitudes and law, how we practice our ethics are in that part. And we drew a house with a window in it, and we are looking out. So we're interpreting all of life through this house, our religion, our world and life view. So you can test that definition and see if it holds for each of the religions that we looked at. We started the semester talking about the origin story in the book of Genesis, the biblical worldview. We talked about creation, fall, and redemption. Then we talked about Hinduism. We looked at origin stories in Hinduism and saw it develop into a view of reality that was quite different than the biblical view. Questions about what is eternal. We also talked about religions that say all is eternal versus only some is eternal. Hinduism's on all is eternal. Buddhism's on all is eternal side. And on the only some is eternal was Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So theism and all is eternal, I'll say. We looked at those. So we had questions about what is eternal and how those are answered. We talked about what is a human in each of these views and what do humans do in each of these religions. I think we talked about suffering in each of the views, at least the biblical account of suffering for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and evil. Different accounts of what the human problem is, you can put it that way, and how the human problem is solved. Is it through a Messiah? Is it through obedience and submission to God? Is it through working off your karma? Is it through enlightenment or nirvana? So we did talk about the human problem and the solution to the human problem in each of these religions. We talked about time a little bit, maybe. How is time experienced? Is it experienced cyclically, or is it experienced linearly? For the theistic traditions, history is very important, particularly Judaism and Christianity, because history is part of where God redeems humanity and reveals himself. And in Hinduism, history is not important as much because history is part of the world of illusion. So we also talked about religious practices. What does a person do in this religion, and why do they do that? And we talked about devotion. I tried to bring out different aspects of religion in terms of the practice, the emotional side, devotion, and the intellectual side, the thinkers. Some traditions value the thinkers more than others. Sometimes the thinkers get persecuted. Sometimes the mystics get persecuted. So each religion has a practical element and a devotional element and an intellectual element, and that's because humans have those aspects in their personality, and we need those things. So the question becomes, what should we take from this class? Is it just another class that, you just take the credits and you move on in life? Or now do you start to see the world in terms of religion? We live in a part of the world and in a time in history where religion isn't emphasized, but can you see these elements being addressed even in non-religious ways or secular ways? Are people out there wondering about what is eternal? What is a human? Why is there suffering or evil in the world? What are the means for solving this evil and suffering in the world? What is time? How do we experience it? And what are we supposed to do with our lives? What is the object of our devotion? Aren't these human questions? Don't you have these questions too? Have you answered them yet? Maybe this class is good for raising your consciousness level and helping you to be more consistent in practicing what you believe. Also, you should be able to look at other people's lives and see, maybe they believe what they believe because of their religion or non-religion or worldview. So why is understanding religion important? I think it's important because religion is what undergirds culture, civilization, and societies. And we all live in those. And we have a history. And religion motivates much of our decisions, our actions, and sometimes it motivates people politically. And so you should be interested in religion, even if just for that matter. It's a motivator for people's actions, and they act in the world, and I live in the world, and I need to understand why people do that. And their lives impact your lives. But I think religion is important for giving meaning to human beings, and all human beings need meaning. So you should think through these religions and see, do any of these provide the meaning that I'm seeking? And there are other religions, but the basic pieces are here. All is eternal, or only some is eternal. Now, you could take a philosophy class and explore those questions about eternal a little more deeply, but I think you got a good picture of what the options are out there. Matter is eternal, or spirit's eternal, and maybe both of those are eternal, or maybe God is eternal. Those are the big options, and those are the bases for the major religions. Except perhaps Buddhism, which said the process of becoming is eternal. So I would encourage you to consider the purpose of this class as helping you explore ways people are giving meaning to their experience and opening a door for you to think about which way actually gives the most meaning. And this is an introduction to religion. You can now pursue for the rest of your life studies and research about religion and thinking about religion and seeing its influence everywhere. And the rest of your education, you can't get away from religion. It is the most influential piece of culture and civilization. You can disagree with me. I'm open to that. But I do think what you've learned in this class, you should hold on to as part of being an educated human being and understanding others. Now, I will pause here. Thank you for taking the class. If you want to pursue other classes, I would say pursue a class on a specific religion that you're interested in, or take a philosophy class that looks at the philosophical assumptions behind people's beliefs. All right, thanks, and I will see you again soon, I hope.